Hello guys, today we talk about accepting our emotions and what can prevent us from doing so. Acceptance is very important strategy to do with emotions. If we accept things in life, it permits us to stop chasing some unrealistic things and direct our energy and our time and our effort on something that we can actually change. So accepting something that we cannot change is a healthy way of dealing. However, if you are trying to always avoid acceptance, this can cause a lot of pain. And emotions are one of those things that we have to accept because emotions are just a fact of life. Everybody has emotions, everybody has feelings. It's part of being human, it's normal, and we cannot ever avoid emotions in our life. They will always be here. So, emotions are like weather, and instead of trying to force ourselves to control the rain, we can just recognize that I cannot control the rain, so no need to waste my time shouting at the clouds. So, very important skill to accept what we cannot change. This can concern everything in life, but today in particular, we're going to talk about emotions. Sometimes it's really difficult to accept how we feel. Um, and let's begin, as always, by differentiating which emotions we easily accept and which not. So I encourage you to write down emotions that you find it difficult to accept and emotions that you easily accept. Like, for example, you find it difficult to accept jealousy because you have this idea that being jealous means you are insecure and that you are vulnerable and not as cool as you thought you should be, or something like this. But you can accept joy, for example. Um, this is first question for your self-reflection, and second question for your self-reflection is what happens if you accept emotion? Like thinking about what you are scared will happen if you accept a certain emotion. Like in the previous video, we talked about how if you feel depressed, some people feel scared to accept this state, to accept feeling sad because they think that this way will mean that if I accept it, I give up. And we discussed how it's not true, that accepting something does not mean giving up. You can accept feeling depressed right now, but still continue to take steps to stop being depressed in the future. Um, okay, so there are several things that can appear in your reflection as replies. So I encourage you to pause the video, write it down, and now we will discuss. First of all, some people see acceptance as their failure. Like if I have to accept something, it means I failed and it means I'm weak, or, and then it goes connected to their self-esteem and so on and so on. Well, in reality, accepting of what you cannot change is a very strong move and very wise move as well. Then also, people think that if I accept a certain emotion, it will never go away. Like if I accept feeling upset, or if I accept feeling lonely, or if I accept feeling, what else? My pain, emotional pain, it will never go away. But I told you in previous parts, and today I will repeat as well, that our emotions are temporary. They are fluid like water, and even if you have a lot of these emotions piped up in you, it doesn't mean that they will last forever if you accept them. On the contrary, the longer you deny a certain emotion, the longer you try to avoid it, the longer you try to feel something else and not this emotion, the more difficult it is to leave you. Emotions tend to stand in us until we actually feel them and process them and accept them. So accepting an emotion is helpful to make it go away sooner. If you don't believe me, you can make several experiments. Like try making experiments. Like if you feel angry, at first try to not accept it and try to run away from it, or try to repress it, or try to do something else what you like. And second experiment, you feel, for example, upset or angry or something, try to just accept it and be with it, and pay attention if it will disappear or not. Then also something that prevents us from acceptance is this judgmental view of accepting emotions. Like, if I accept my anger, it means I'm a bad person, that anger is bad. I remind you again that emotions are not a moral choice. Emotions, they are like weather. We do not choose them. We do not choose our emotions, so we cannot bear any responsibility for our emotions. Emotions are a healthy part of human experience. What we can feel guilty about is our actions. So if you feel angry, or if you feel jealous, or if you feel anything else, it doesn't make you a bad person. Okay, because feeling something is not same as acting, is not same as doing something. So pay attention here. Next. Some people don't want to accept emotions because they believe they motivate them. Like, I feel scared and it motivates me. I feel ashamed and it motivates me. And here I suggest you doing some experiments as well, trying to motivate yourself by rewards, by good moods, by doing something that you like, and so on and so on. So try other systems of motivation. You can search online. There are many different ways to motivate yourself instead of feeling ashamed or angry or sad or lonely or something else, or being scared. Some people also think that accepting emotions leads to loss of control. No, it doesn't. We talked about this previously. And yes, this more or less. So what do we do with it? We make experiments. Like, if you think that you will be not motivated by anything else but fear, make experiments. Find other ways to motivate yourself online, for example, and try them out. Well, of course, not all ways to motivate yourself are good online. Actually, motivation, the secret about motivation is that it comes during activity and not before activity. So instead of shaming yourself or guilting yourself or scaring yourself, you can just start an activity, and just by starting it, just by engaging in it, you're already increasing your motivation. This is one of the ways. So we're doing experiments and we're trying out different ways, like how to manage things if we accept our emotions. Also, important ideas that I want you to take out from these videos. First of all, we are not defined by our emotions. Emotions are healthy, everybody feels them, and emotions don't make you good or bad person. There are no good or bad emotions. Everybody feels same emotions. They're just part of human experience. What can be defined as good or bad from moral standpoint is choices that you make, is decisions that you make, is actions that you take, not your emotions. Emotions are like weather. You cannot control it. You can control only your actions, and if you don't know how to control them yet, you can learn how to control them. Next important idea: acceptance helps you to process this emotion, to live through this, to experience it, and continue your life. And it doesn't make emotion last longer. It helps you to be free and not be stuck in one single feeling. And next idea is that when we accept things that we cannot change, it's really helpful for overall life quality, because instead of spending so much energy on trying to change something we cannot, we direct all this energy on actually things that are actually possible to change. So we start living more in present, we start engaging more with people around us, we start achieving goals that we actually can achieve, and so on and so on. And this can incredibly increase your life quality. So please don't waste all of your energy trying to fix something that is not fixable. Instead, use this energy to actually achieve what you want and what is possible for you. And remember that acceptance and recognizing that you cannot change something and kind of submitting to this recognition is part of wisdom and not your weakness. It's actually strength. Next, what you need to remember is acceptance does not mean passivity or inactivity. If you are feeling depressed, let's say, if you accept that you feel sad during depression, does not mean that you stop taking antidepressants, that you stop going to therapy, and so on. Accepting feelings doesn't mean you are not trying to improve your state. And also, sometimes accepting our emotions helps us to understand the real problem and start solving the real problem. Like, for example, if I made already this example today, if I feel jealous and I'm trying to guilt myself for feeling that way, I'm gonna spend a lot of energy trying to fight this jealousy instead of just accepting it and then asking myself why I feel jealous. Is there a reason for this? And actually solving the real problem. So instead of spending so much time and energy trying to fight some emotion, you can accept this emotion and ask yourself what this emotion is trying to tell me. Oftentimes, behind our emotions, there is some need that we have. Maybe you're feeling sad all the time because your body has an iron deficit, or maybe you feel jealous because some of your important needs are not met in your relationship. Maybe you feel angry because somebody is crossing your boundaries or something like this. So our emotions, if we accept them, we can see clearly what they signal us about and then change the real problems. So accepting emotions is extremely helpful, extremely appropriate, and so on. You should always accept your emotions, but if you don't like the way you act, you can change the way you act. But we cannot really stop our emotions from happening, so we can accept them, just like rain outside, just like sunny weather outside, just like other things we cannot accept in our life, we cannot change in our life. And I will see you next time. We will talk more about our beliefs about emotions, and I hope it was interesting and helpful, and I encourage you to do following exercise. First, reflect which emotions you accept and which not. Secondly, reflect what is your interpretation of acceptance, why you're not accepting your emotions. Maybe you have some kind of harmful assumptions, like if I accept emotions, I'm weak, or if I'm, And thirdly, make experiments. If you find yourself that, for example, you're afraid of losing control if you accept emotions, make experiments of accepting your emotions and check if you actually do lose control or not. And I will see you next time. Write me in the comments about your experiments and thoughts and so on. I hope this video was helpful, and I see you next. Bye bye.